So the experiments we're going to conduct are experiments that are assessing molecular movement. So we've been learning a lot about the cell and about the plasma membrane of a typical cell. Now this is just our model, right? Real cells look quite a bit different, but again, we're just trying to use this so you guys can start to relate to organelles, relate to the function, and relate to what cells do since they're the unit of life. All right. So what we're really specifically looking at is the capability of things that are outside the cell to get in and stuff that's inside the cell to get out, and again, passing through that membrane. So molecular transport, we have two basic types. We say we have passive transport and we have active transport. Passive transport is what we're going to assess. Active transport requires ATP as a source of energy, and we don't have any way to really look at that. But note that your cells do a lot of active transport. So the passive transport we're going to look at in lab is going to be, right, simple diffusion and osmosis. In addition to those two, there's also filtration and there's facilitated diffusion. And what you need to recall or learn is what's the difference between these types of transport, okay? Now, something that osmosis and simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion have in common is that the movement of the molecules occurs because of concentration differences that we call gradients. And the rule is that the molecules will move from areas where they're high to areas where they're low, right? And then there are factors that influence this movement, okay? Things like temperature, things like the size of the container, the volume it's in, right? The size of the molecules, okay? And of course, like I said already, the amount of molecules there. So I hope that as you go through this experiment, you start to relate a little bit more to the concepts, because they are rather challenging, but they are very, very important to understanding how organisms can stay alive, right? How they are able to have these cells making all these different molecules, molecules that the cell needs and molecules that the body needs, so the cell has to export it. And the cell has to be able to import, right, raw materials or resources to do that. Things like amino acids, things like nucleotides and glucose and fatty acids. Okay? So as you do this experiment again, please try to think about that a little bit more and think about, you know, how a membrane allows this to occur. All right? Hope this helps. Thank you, guys.